Points, discount points, buying down the rate, prepaid interest. What is all this and what does it mean? Watch this next video to find out. Hey guys, my name is Jeff Sheeman. I'm a local mortgage lender currently licensed in Missouri and Florida. If you're in the market to purchase or refinance, my team and I would love to help. Click on any of the links below or shoot me an email or text. My phone number is 417-844-9047. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about discount points, buying down the points, prepaid interest. All of these terms mean the same thing. And really, what it is how much the rate is going to cost you. So, we're going to talk about two different types of buy downs, interest rate buy downs. There's permanent and temporary. I'm going to go over permanent for the first part of this video, and then I'll go over temporary in the latter half. Permanent is, like it says, it is for the life of the loan. So if you're getting a 30-year mortgage, your interest rate will be reduced for all 30 years. If it's temporary, it's going to be temporary based on the term or the selection that you pick. And I'll show you what common options there are. Okay. So what we're talking about right here is if you get a loan estimate or a closing disclosure, you're going to scroll down to the second page, and the number you're looking for right here is $1,741. Obviously, this number is going to change, and I'll show you all the options that it can be. But this piece of the puzzle is what we're talking about right now. Borrowers often call me and say, "Hey Jeff, what's your interest rate?" Right? But that's only half the question. You really need to say, what are your rates at and how much do they cost, right? Or what's the rate and what are points whenever you're comparing lenders. Obviously, we lenders get shopped all the time. You're going to compare me to some other guy and it's just part of the business. But be sure that you're at least educated enough to ask the right questions when you're doing it, because there's a lot of shady practices in this business, and it's really a sales kind of role. And borrowers think that they're doing the right thing and educating and asking the right questions, and they're really not, and they're just getting convinced to do something different that may or may not be in their best interest. So if you're getting a loan estimate, or if you want me to look at any loan estimate and see what your lender is charging you, and if that's normal and customary, I'm happy to do so. Just reach out, call me, text me, email, whatever. Okay, so we're going to talk about this loan estimate on the loan origination charges, section A, the amount for the fee. So this first picture I'm going to show you is what's called a rate stack. This isn't your rate stack. This is just a generic one. Your numbers will be different, guaranteed, on something like this. But what you're looking at is the interest rates are on the left-hand side of the screen here, or on the left-hand side of the column. The middle column right here is how much it costs for the rate. So in this particular situation, this borrower, you can see there's 6.25, the borrower will pay $578. Or if they do a 6.35, the borrower will receive $676. And they would receive that in the form of like a lender credit, and we would pay that towards closing costs. Sometimes we do this for borrowers that maybe don't have enough money saved up for closing costs and we can't get seller concessions. This is always an option. It's not super common. We don't do this a lot, but it is an option if we need it. So your par, or your market rate, would be probably 6.25 is what I would call it. In my formula in the math, I'm going to do 6.375 just because I'm showing you an example in case you don't have any money whatsoever, and we're at the where you don't have to pay anything for the points. Okay. So that's what a rate stack looks like. I've converted this into an easier to digest format in Excel. These are both terrible to look at, right? These are numbers all day long, and this is not what you want to do. This is what I do. Sometimes this scratches my itch and I love solving the puzzle. And a lot of times it's looking at numbers all day long. So I've translated a lot of the information over here, and it's not as fuzzy and it looks prettier. So 6.375, we're going to call that your par price, and we're going to give you $676. Okay. But let's say you wanted to get a 5.5% rate. What does that look like, Jeff? Well, this column right here is your payment, and it is only your principal and interest. It does not include taxes and insurance, because we don't need to calculate that. So I can show you what this looks like. But let's say you want to go to a 5.5, it's going to cost you $7,800, $7,813. You're going to reduce your payment. So your payment at 6.375 will be $1,809. At 5.5, it's $1,647. So it saves $162 a month to go down to a 5.5. So that's one of the numbers in the formula that we need is your monthly mortgage savings if you buy the rate down. If you buy the rate down to 5.5, it's going to cost you $7,813. So then this next number is 7813 divided by your monthly savings. So how much it costs for the rate divided by how much you're saving monthly when you buy the rate down. And that makes your break even 48.23 months. So I would then ask you, do you plan on refinancing this loan or selling the house and purchasing another one in the next 48.23 months? If that answer is yes to either one of those, buying the rate down probably doesn't make sense for you. But if you say, Jeff, I'm going to die here, this is my forever home, I'm going to be here for a long time, then we'll start talking about maybe a permanent rate buy down. Okay. I tried to put the formula down here. You have your market payment, which is the one that you qualify, the closest one to zero. And then you subtract your buy down payment. So whichever one you want, and that gives you your monthly payment savings. That's this column here. Okay. And then you have the cost for the buy down, and then you divide that by your monthly savings. The only caveat I don't want to dive into this video, but technically, this cost is $78.13, but there's also a $676 cost here. So technically, you need to add the $676 plus the $78.13, makes it like $8,400 divided by your break even. Usually, there's not this big of a swing, and so I didn't want to dive too deep into that. But that's what a permanent rate buy down is. You are permanently giving me money, and we are going to reduce your rate by whatever the amount is, and that's going to save you on monthly savings. Then you just have to figure out what your break even is. So that's what a permanent rate buy down is. Okay. This next tab here is what's going to be a temporary buy down, and they function similarly, but like the name implies, they are temporary. So a temporary buy down, they classify them here. These are different names of temporary buy downs. There's a 3-2-1, there's a 2-1, there's a 1-0, and there's probably others out there, a 5-4-3-2-1 or something, but 3-2-1, 2-1, and 1-0s are really the most common and popular. So really what you want to look at there is whatever your market rate is, right? Like in this case, it was 6.375. If you're doing a 3-2-1, the first year you're reducing that interest rate by 3%. So your first year is going to be 4%. The second year, you're reducing the interest rate by 2%. So 7 minus 2 is 5. Third year is 1. And then fourth year, you're back up to your regular rate that you're going to have for the remainder of the loan. Temporary, same thing, right? You get the 7% rate. First year, you're down 2 percentage points. Next year, you're down 1%. Third year, you're back at 7. And then a 1-0, year 1 is a 6%. Year 2 is 7%. Now that you understand that conceptually, it saves you monthly savings on your monthly payment every month, right? In the first year, it'll save you more money every month than it does the second and third. And so you add up all those 3 years, and that's more or less what it costs for a temporary buy down. You can also stack buy downs. So let's say you want to do a permanent buy down, you want to buy it down to 5.5, and then you want to do a temporary 2-1 buy down on top of that. That's also permitted sometimes. And obviously every loan situation is different. So make sure that we know what you're trying to do and we can structure it appropriately. But that's also an option. So permanent rate buy downs, buy the rate down for the life of the loan, and it's a fixed cost, and it just has a break-even analysis. Refinances function real similarly. Should you want to do math on those, how much does it cost to refinance? What's your monthly savings? Where's the break-even? Refinances are great because usually they're not anxious or emotional. They're just about math and numbers. And then a temporary buy down is temporary, only for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever the term is. I hope that answers questions. If it creates more, obviously give me a call, email, text, whatever you have to do. My number is 417-844-9047. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, please. And then there's a lot of links in the comments below, my Facebook profile, websites, mortgage calculators, things like that. Have a good day, guys. Appreciate it.